Hey there. Okay. Well, let me see if I can get this a little, I can see it better. So hi everyone. This is a live Q&A. I did two already on Facebook within the last month, but this time I'm going to do it on YouTube and just like figure out, how many people see this, if this is worth it. Hey, Edmontas. Hi. So, yeah, and then I hopefully we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna get questions like within that live Q&A, and also like people beforehand. And yeah, I think we can all learn from that, because actually the last Q&As were rather successful and people really liked them. So let's start now. So the first question that I got was, and I've gotten it more than once, so I just want to start with that, is to reintroduce myself. Why did I do this? How did I start doing YouTube and coaching and all of that? Because I think most of the videos where I talk about that are probably like 2 years old. And so I have changed, and so the perspective has changed, and a lot of people ask me to do that. So yeah, my name is Wenzes. It's a short form for Wenzes. I was born in Bulgaria, Sofia in Bulgaria. I'm 32 years old, born in 86. And I live in Germany. So I don't know, like a lot of people still think I live in the States. I don't. I know most, like over 50% of my viewers are from the States. But other than that, it's pretty much all over the place. Australia, Great Britain, Europe, all together. And yeah. And so I lived in Germany. I was always rather into academia. I have a master's degree in finance. And I always went that road because my mom is a math scientist. My aunt is a professor in nuclear physics. And so I was kind of like always pushed into this road, not really realizing, I knew you were a tiger, yeah. But not really realizing that that is not what is like my main thing that I love to do, because all in like the household I grew up with, it was all math. You have to be good in that. And so I always went that route, and probably I quit my job, I don't know, like 4 months ago when I came from, from a finance field. So let me get you, maybe go backwards a little bit. So I was, until like 4 months ago, I was a consultant in banking in Europe at one of the top tier consultant agencies. And so I was going to become a manager, like if everything went right this summer. So I was going on a really, really good path and making like good money and so on, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. And I got more and more situations where I realized, okay, like, first off, I don't care. I don't want to make like a path in that. And so luckily, like I had this to really focus on and to switch and completely do this, my coaching and everything that comes with it. And this is like my world. Like everything I do here is completely how I wanted it to be. There is this freedom that is given through, being like on the internet or doing YouTube or doing my coachings. Like even like I have an INFJ channel, but you will not see another INFJ channel like mine. And you will not see another INFJ channel like it's not just that I'm special. Every one of us who's doing that is still completely unique. So it's not, it doesn't really matter. It's just like very unique, and I can do that. And yeah, somebody asked if I'm an Aries. How's it called in English? I'm an Aquarius, and I'm full blown Aquarius. I mean, like my ascendant is an Aquarius, my sun is an Aquarius, my Mercury is an Aquarius, my Venus is an Aquarius, and like even 2 or 3 more planets. Like it's really weird. It's very conjuncted, like all in one place. But that's just So okay. And so 4 years ago, I was already like a derivative expert. And I was doing that, but I was really bored out of my mind, because I've gotten to a point where I really had nice people around me. Everybody was nice, but I didn't have the challenge to grow, and I didn't know what to do. And then through a very personal encounter with an ENFJ at that time, who was a narcissist, I was really pushed so much in the corner that I had to break free and to kind of like let out everything that I was holding in. And like I didn't have nothing left. So this is my rock bottom moment. It was probably like 4 years ago. It started when I was 26, went really bad until I was 28. And around this time, I really hit rock bottom. And so like when you're rock bottom, you kind of like sift out everything else, like everything that wasn't me, that I didn't care about, I just removed. And so and then for me, the only thing I wanted to do is help people to get through what I had to go through by myself, because I felt completely abandoned by myself. I realized the way I was always aiming to get love, I'm not going to get anymore, because I was conditioned that I'm going to get love by neglecting myself, by living in other people's worlds, and to just kind of like not just make myself small, pretty much, which was my relationship with my father in a lot of ways. And so the minute I realized no matter how small I make myself, I'm still not gonna get the love that I need, that's when I really broke out. And it was like, I just realized nobody's gonna love me the way I need it, and that's okay, and I just gotta deal with it. I'm strong enough now. And then what happened then? So at that moment I realized I have to help people, because I had a lot of insight. I knew a lot of things that in the end helped me to get out of that situation. I wanted to share it with people so they didn't have to go through this by themselves like I had to go through with it. And at that time, it was like INFJ was like the first thing I found that I kind of like found an answer to all of my questions, because I was looking like as I was going from 26 to 28, being completely miserable. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I was acting this way. I looked into, are you a highly sensitive person? Are you an empath? Like everything like I was looking for. And the one thing that really stuck with me, that really helped me to put a system into it, was INFJ and Myers-Briggs. And so that's how it all started. So I've been doing these videos for 4 years now, and a lot has changed, because I have now gotten to a point where I'm just building my own life completely. I'm building like the feedback loop. So I'm putting something out, something that I want to do regardless of if I get something back or not, because these thoughts are just something that intrinsically interest me. I get into them. I want to think about these things, and then I just share it. And because I have that, and then people like react to that, and it's like positive feedback, I was able to create something where my energy level just rose tremendously. And so starting from 28, like I wrote a book back then that you can get. If you go onto my page, like if you're interested on Wenzes.com, you'll find it. But back then I wrote the book, and I started doing this channel, and it was really just on the side, because you have to think about, I'm at that point changing also jobs, going like to this top tier consulting agency where I was working probably 50 hours a week. I had, I still am like a diamond member at Hilton. I was driving like I had cab bills of 35 euros, which is like, let's say $45 a day that my company paid. Like I was staying like at really like 5-star hotels every day. So it was like a nice lifestyle, but it was a lot of sacrifices and a lot of things that concentrate into banking. And when I'm really honest, I really never really cared. Like I don't know anything about, I don't know. I really was underqualified in any way, shape, or form, but it didn't like, people didn't realize it, because I was so good with people and I was so able to convince clients to work with me. So that's why I got through so well. And so that's pretty much how it all started. And now it's gotten to a point where, as I said, like 4 months ago, I had to have surgery on my foot. So then I took like some time off, and I wanted to do a sabbatical so I can concentrate on this. And then I just realized now, like I want to do this full time. And so I quit my job, and now I'm doing coaching, and it's going great. And it's like growing much faster than I thought. And I can, pay all my bills with it. And I have, the aim to definitely like make more money with this than I did with my last job within this year already. But it's not like it happened overnight. So I've been doing this for a while. So that's how this whole thing happened. Let me just quickly look into the comments questions. So my moon, somebody here really interested in how's it called? Oh God, no, I don't know the words. Horoscopes, like what is it called? Yeah, my moon is in the thing that is before Aquarius, I guess. Capricorn. Yeah, I guess. How do you like Germany? How long have you been living there? I'm wondering whether learning language was hard. So German was my second language. As I said, I was born in Bulgaria and I came here when I was 4 years old. And I was born in a communist country, meaning like I didn't have diapers or anything like that. So my baby pictures all black and white. And so I came to Germany when I was 4, and it was right after like the Cold War had ended. And it was not hard to learn the language because, astrology, that's the word. It was not hard to learn the language because I was really young. And as you can tell, I'm really good at picking up atmospheres and picking up just like, situations like this. And for me, it was like, I'm getting into a new world. And that's why, it was like, I don't have any accent in German. I don't have any accent when I speak Bulgarian. And I was a lot better in English than I am now, because when I was 16 years old, I went to the States for a year. And I met my first boyfriend there, who is like, of course he still is, an ESTP. So we were together for a long time. And so I learned a lot from that relationship. As you can tell, it was like a big turning point for me to really go for that SE. And all of the people that I had like in like romantic close relationships like that really had an influence on me, where when it was for men, it was always something with SE and I. So ENFJ was very dramatic for me. ESTP, I learned a lot from that. I had some quick encounter where ENFJ, know what I was talking. So ENFJ, ESTP had a quick encounter with an ENTJ, which was just me projecting things onto him that he wasn't. I just wanted like the ENFJ and the ENTJ to be like an ESTP pretty much, until I realized that I have to bring out my inner ESTP. So that's how that whole thing happened. And so that's how I learned English pretty much. Of course, I had English for 5 years before I came to the States. But somebody says, I want to be your last boyfriend. Well, you never know. But so that's how this whole thing happened. And it was like, my life has always been very dramatic in a way, but never from my perspective, like not something I did. I always just hung out with people who had just some crazy stuff going on. And the moment I realized I have to bring the excitement into my life, that's how it all started. So I would just go to the next segment, unless you have some specific questions about like how I grew up or what I do in that regard, before I come to like really like questions that go a little bit deeper into topics. Okay. So Picnic, Nick is asking me, hi, Wenzes, advice for an INFJ currently on the path to becoming a therapist. Yeah, like what is it you want to, like, do you really need a certificate? That's my main thing. Do you need a certificate if you're in a position where you really want to have like something on that says on your door that you're a therapist? Then you have to, go to college and do that. I do not think that's necessary at all. I think with our current society and how everything is going, let me just fix the light here a little bit. How everything is going, you can be a coach. You can do that in different ways and help people on the internet without having to like say that you're a psychologist in that way, because mainly what we want to do is help people with the way we interpret situations. And so I do not think it's like that necessary. But if you're going to go to college anyways, then I would definitely recommend don't do something that is just economically right and study finance or something like me, but rather do something that you love to do. That's the main thing. Like even Warren Buffett, he always says the only thing that matters is do something you love, because then you really have a drive to like really, like it's an energy, I'm carrying an energy. This thing is growing because I'm always having a feedback loop of like I'm getting an energy surplus. And this will never happen if you're in a field that you don't care about doing from an intrinsic point of view. It has to be something that you want to do anyways. Okay. Yeah, Nick says, I'm currently getting my master's in counseling. I think like the structure and discipline it provides me. Yeah, awesome. So when you're already there, great. Like just start with it and then start helping people. I would always say like start online. I think for INFJs, that's a great way to do it, because it's kind of like our world. We don't have to connect with people because they live in the same place we live in, but we can create like a new common ground on just a topic, or just like a kind of like language we speak. And it doesn't have to be like English as a language, of course. I'm just saying the way we talk. And then you can help people additionally through that and get experience. And it's just a great way. So there's no, in my opinion, you can lose with that. You just share your knowledge and you help people, and then things start going from there. Okay. Lisa asked, anything you feel like sharing about your spiritual beliefs? Okay, so my spiritual beliefs, that's really interesting because I don't really talk about that much. So I am from, on paper, I am Greek art. No, I'm not Greek Orthodox. I'm Bulgarian Orthodox, but I'm Christian Orthodox. I was raised in Catholic school. I was in an all girls school with nuns for the beginning, at least. So I was born Orthodox. I had most of my Christian connection with through school, and it was all Catholic. And I'm not really going to church. I never had like a real connection with that. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that my parents did grow up in communism, and so there is, especially from my mom's side, there's not this connection to spirituality like that because it wasn't allowed. So it's not really in the culture I grew up with. So I didn't really have that connection to that. But I know that there's energy around us. I believe that we create our universe, and I believe that we're all connected, and that we all I believe in frequencies, and that there's energy going on, and that it's not just what you can see, and I know for me, I don't believe everything is over the minute I die, because I think this is all one, and it's like endless. And so it helped me a lot to really let go and just say, okay, I'm not doing something for myself, I'm doing something for the world I live in. And that helped me to really get to the next step. Okay. So Steve asked, do you have any dating advice or how to approach looking for a partner as an INFJ? Do you think it's different than other types in the way you should approach things in a healthy way? So I don't know if you've really noticed it, but I don't talk much about dating because I am not an expert on that. As I said, my relationships helped me to grow, but I've been single for many years. And I do believe it's different for INFJs. For me, I have found now that the best way for me to connect with people is just through making sure that I grow, because I can definitely tell that I'm being way more open with people now once I grow, because I don't project so much. I think the reason why we have weird relationships in a way, or things that of that nature that seem so intense, is because we really project all of our wishes for our life onto our partner, or onto that person we want our partner to be. And I think the more we do that we bring out and create like this phenomenal life for ourselves, we don't expect our partner to do that for us. And then we can really find somebody that we love because they just like us, they love us, they respect us, and they want us to be happy. So we put our guards down in a way. You allow yourself to be vulnerable. And and I think a lot of that has also to do with the fact that we naturally have a very inward energy. So if we're not working on creating like an energy management that we can have more energy, we're just so overwhelmed by other people's energies that we are always putting our guards up. And so the only way we really allow ourselves to have connections with people is when we feel we have power over them, and we know something about them that we could use in case they're like abusing our openness. And as I said, this is of course a recipe for disaster. And in my opinion, it does get a lot better once you really work on your energy and you work on creating a life on your terms, because then you don't expect so much from others, and you can really put your guard down, because if then somebody like leaves you or sees you for who you are and leaves you, it won't crush you, because you have a life outside of that partner. And in many cases, we see ourselves through that partner so strongly So it has like a way too big like effect on us. Okay. Okay. Have you ever had a paranormal experience? No, I haven't. Never had anything like that. I have communicated with somebody through music. I've done that, but it was like we didn't talk. Somebody posted a song on on Facebook, and then I posted another song like when I was a lot younger. And so we communicate for a couple of months through that. But I don't think that's paranormal. It's just like you see like the mood of that person. Are you angry? Are you anxious? What are you like feeling like that? I've done that. Okay. Then we have, okay, before I get into the questions, I want to get to one question that Linda asked me before. And she said, how do you deal with people that have crossed your boundaries, let's say yesterday, and today you want to say like, okay, I let that happen. I don't want that to happen again. But like, how am I going to react now when I go, no live streaming in the halls? Okay. I don't know. How are you going to react to that? And it's really funny because I had like a similar question this week from one of my former clients, and also the same way they had somebody at work that they didn't like, and for some reason they let that happen, that the other person was intrusive and mean or whatever, and then they didn't know, like the question was how to let that go. And my answer is, of course, hi Hung, my answer of course is don't let it go ever. Like, don't let it go. There's a reason why you feel this way. Hi Linda. There's a reason why we feel this way, and we should address it the next day. So if you've at a point where you feel like, okay, I haven't really shown my boundaries and I'm getting mad at myself and also at that person, first off, maybe when you're at home, start listening to some music that will get you in the mood, like something like Eminem, like really let that anger out. I think in a lot of ways we do not let our anger out enough. And to like really feel that, and then the next day to tell that person, listen, we're at a workplace or we have some kind of connection, whatever it is, if we're friends, in this relationship, I'm not accepting you talking to me like this. I should have said something yesterday. I'm really sorry about that. I was just in shock, but this is not acceptable to me, and I don't see how we can move on forward if I didn't address that. Because the problem is, if you try to let it go, you're just pretending. That's keeping you from having an authentic relationship with that person, and this is like bad for your work, bad for everything. I know that there are certain situations where we don't want to really address that because it's going to have, as I said, some negative, something negative is going to come out of that. But so what? Like in the end, like as I said, for my job, for example, I knew I'm going to leave, so I didn't, like, I let people know you can't talk to me like this, but I didn't care for them to understand me why. I just said, I made sure that like I'm being a mirror. So if they're being mean, I'm reacting in such a way that they feel at least as bad as I felt, when not worse. So subconsciously they remember not to do that again. Okay, let me get, okay, any advice? Okay. I meant to ask, any advice for INFJ on finding my place in the world? I'm from Lithuania, like I don't know how to say it in English. I know it better in Bulgaria. And graduated from university 2 years ago, lived, worked in the UK for a year, and then Czech Republic. Still don't know where to build my life. Don't look at it as in a place like a country. Do it online. Find a community that you feel you can express yourself and you can add value no matter what it is. Some kind of interest of yours. Like I think, especially for INFJs, the internet is just the thing, because it is the future. Like that's just a fact. It's gonna take maybe like 3 or 4 years for everything else to really catch up. But it's exponentially growing, and there is no way out of it. This is going to happen. The world that we create here, it's like when you're in the world and you have like a world in, like, let's say we have a Czech Republic, and then you have America here, and now the internet comes, and then you create a world that's going like this or like this. So it's like a completely different dimension, but it works just as well. You can build your friends there, you can build community there. And once you have that, then you can have great relationships also with the people you live with, because you don't have the necessity, like you don't need to create a life where that world is everything to you. So the moment I started doing this, for example, I started having much better relationship with my mom, with my father, with my friends, because now I share what I want to share with them in a way of, okay, I love this one friend because I love working out with her and talking to her about like what our personal things we're going through right now. But I don't have this urge of, oh, I need to save her, because I can do that in my business, for example. I can get that need of mine fulfilled somewhere else. So this is my thing. You can live wherever you want. It's not going to make a difference. Don't look at it from that perspective. Just create something like that you do online. There are companies online if you don't want to start something on your own. Communities, like even if it's not just a job, just having like a circle of people that you can talk to. There were like studies showing now what is one of the main reasons why people live to be older. And the most important thing is how many people do you have around you, as in how many people do you communicate with, but in a way where you can really share your truth. So if you're interested in whatever it is, I don't like, I really don't know. It's just like specific things that are important to you. If you want to like save the environment, or if you really care about music, like find like-minded people and go in the communities and build a life that it's not just like about money, but it's like you build your energy and you build like a place within that group online. Okay. Okay. Mama got split. In a healthy way. Okay, somebody asked, Steve asked, you brought up you like to save people. Do you have any advice on doing that in a healthy way that is balanced for you to, but still fulfills the part of you that wants to help? Definitely. This is so good you bring that up, because I used to help people and wanting to save people in a very codependent way. So I'm not naive. I know this has not so much to do with the fact, oh, I'm a good person, I want to save people. I think in the end, it all comes down to what we need, which is love and to be accepted, to be understood, to be heard. And some people do that by being funny. Some other people do it by bringing like, cooking for people. And I believe in a lot of ways, I wanted to use my insight, because the insight that I have, it's just always been my thing, what I love to do. And I wanted to use that to save people in order for them to like me, to accept me, to love me. So from a very, I'm not trying to be a good person, just like whatever it's like needing for me to feel good. We can never like really do something that's completely selfless in a way. But that's not a bad thing. We just like help us and help others as well. So I was doing that in intimate relationship. I was doing that with family. I was doing that with friends. And I was doing that by always neglecting who I was, by always living in their world and just making them feel good about themselves. So I had like this friend, and she was an INFP, and we went when we were 20. And throughout everything, it was like I always wanted, like I saw so much potential in her that I wanted her to feel that she's all of that potential. But it was a lie, because I knew that she wasn't her potential yet. I knew she had that potential, but she wasn't that yet. So I was always like, trying to make her feel good. And there was a codependency, of course, in that. And second of all, it didn't get her. First off, she didn't get better. So she didn't like feel better about it. It was like just me always telling her that she's more than she actually is. People get that. They get upset over that. And at some point, you're gonna burst out, because you feel like I'm giving, and I'm not getting anything back. And with intimate relationships, it's even worse. Like for me, I have the situation with the ENFJ when I was like 26, maybe, really, really broke me, because that was a narcissist. I felt that nobody's going to save him, so I have to save him. And it was, it's like, it was just really bad. And I realized back then, okay, no, the first person I have to save is always me, always me. I don't care if you have children, put yourself first. I don't care if you have other people that you say they're so great. You have to put yourself first, because if you don't have enough energy, you cannot help anybody. You're being depleted. And for me, it was really changing from being an observer to being a part of the group. Like that's how I felt. I felt like an observer. I'm just outside, and there is I don't know if it's an inferiority or superiority complex, but there is something with this that you say, okay, the rules that apply to other people don't apply to me. And the moment I realized, listen, I cannot protect that person till the end, because at some point I have to decide, and because this is draining, and he's hurting me so much that in the end, when I have to decide, I'm going to decide for me. And that was very hurtful and very bad. So, in a nutshell, yes, help people. Don't help people in that kind of way that are that close to you. You can help them when you feel better and still at a point where you never ever neglect yourself. So you want to save people, do it in a community like we do it now. Help people that are not really in your life. So if I'm helping some of you, this is not going to really affect the way I feel about myself. It's not like my partner that I project everything onto, and like their opinion matters to me so much that if they don't like me, like really, I crushed and I die pretty much. So this is my advice: like keep it at a distance, so you make sure that you're always good. And then if you want to find like a life partner, don't look for somebody to save. You want somebody that you can also lean your shoulder on, somebody you can walk with. You do not need to have somebody that you need to save. If you want to save people, do it in a different kind of relationship. Okay. Okay. Scorp says, it's true, the more I communicate to people online or listen to videos of people who have common ideas like me, I find it easier to deal with family and people in real life. Same here, completely the same way. I feel understood, I feel heard, so then I have more empathy and strength to deal with people who don't understand me in that way. Paul says, you're doing a very valuable job and you're doing it well. Thank you so much. Okay. Scorp says, I think the idea that we see so much potential in other people is the idea that we feel that inside of ourselves. And until we fulfill that need inside of ourselves, we can't help others. So true. I think we talked about this as well. And this is actually one of my questions. Because I had this video last week of using annoying people as a mirror. And in the end, it comes down to that. So if you have, for example, intrusive people in your life that you feel, oh, they're intruding into your life and it makes you feel uncomfortable, it's because you're not standing up for yourself at that moment. And in the end, you feel, if I would be standing up for myself, I would be intrusive. I would be the one who really, who's being like intrusive on other people, and you're taking responsibility for their well-being because you don't think that they are supposed to and are able to take care of themselves. But the moment you say, I expect every person to take care of themselves and everybody's capable of doing that, you also admit to yourself that you have to be capable of taking care of yourself. And that means putting yourself first and not others. And it's a difficult thing because we've been programmed so much to neglect ourselves and so on. And the same thing, like Scorp says, like, as you said, we see the potential in other people at that moment when, like, we don't think we have really, like, stepped into our potential. So if, for example, earlier, I always loved people that I thought, oh, they had such great potential. And now I do not feel the same way about those other people because I don't look for people with potential. I look for people who, are doing the steps to bring that potential out because I'm doing that. So the back then when I was really thinking, oh, you're a great person because you have so much potential, it's because that was how it was with me. I thought like I'm a good person because I have potential, but I realized, okay, for me to feel good about myself, I have to step into that potential and start creating something with it. And it's going to be trash in the beginning and it's going to be small and it's not going to get me any energy. And I'm just going to do it because the path of using my potential and doing something with it is like the solution to my personal depression that I was going through. So it didn't really matter what big scheme, like I wasn't planning on having this as like my business back then. It was like, okay, maybe in 10 years I can live off of this. But it was, as I said, I barely had any time and I still wanted to do it because I thought that's my way of giving back, or that's my way of, just using my potential. And at the same time, because I knew like I wasn't at a point yet where that would be enough, I still would have to spend 40, 50 hours at work. I went and did something more challenging at work because I knew I need to always challenge myself. Otherwise, I'm not going to be fulfilled. Nick asked, how do you grow more confidence in your intuition? I don't build any more confidence. I guess what I do is just I share my ideas and then I get feedback. because you don't know, like I've said this before many times, we always think we know everything. So when I was younger and I thought I knew the other person, I saw somebody and said, oh, you can fake whatever you want, I know who you are, I know how you think. And I really thought that because it was only an idea, I didn't have the feedback of how is that person going to react if I really confront them with that. I didn't have the feedback of like I have this idea, it's like a great idea, but like I haven't tried it out. It's like, in physics, you have the theoretical and then you have the experimental ones. You need to experiment and you need to get the feedback. So, oh, okay, out of my plan that I have, like you have 100% plan, and like you do it, and then actually 40% come true of that, which is a great number to begin with, especially. Then you realize, oh, okay, so I was wrong with A, B, and C, but I was right with D, E, and F. So I'm just going to change A, B, and C. Now I have the information, and now I build something that can be even more concrete. And the more concrete it becomes, the more it's not just an idea in your head, but it's indestructible. So building confidence in your intuition, it's just trying it out. If you have an intuition about, oh, this is an idea that's actually going to work, try it out. And then you're going to realize, okay, half of it worked, half of it didn't. And then you keep on doing that. And that's how I do it. I never really think, oh, that is the solution. I just do it, and I just do it so I know this is going to get my feedback. And I've gotten so much to a point where I don't care about failing. I don't care about being wrong. I just want to get the answer. I want to know, if I do this, what's going to happen? Is that going to happen what I thought? And if things are different, then that's just as good, because it's just one more step to get me further ahead. So it's never, that's actually how I do that. Okay. First off, please excuse if I skip something. It's just really fast, so I can't okay. I must ask, any advice on nutrition choices to have more energy? I noticed that low levels of potassium and vitamin C cause brain fog as well as weak immune system. Also, caffeine messes up thinking. So I do not understand all of these things, unfortunately. Like, I can tell you, I do not drink coffee anymore. That helped me a lot. I eat a lot of spinach and kale. I drink them in my smoothies. This has been really, really good for me. I take vitamins, but probably already for like 10 years or something. I do that. And stress is like stress and really getting toxic people out of your life. And so that's pretty much. And these are like basic things. So sleeping, having good nutrition, and that, like plant-based stuff, a lot of vegetables, light stuff. That has helped me a lot. That's all I can say. And yeah, as I said, I completely stopped drinking coffee, and I was somebody who drank like 4 or 5 espressos a day. So that's been really good. Okay, now we have. Yeah, like somebody said, it chops a little my stream. Yeah, that's the best internet connection I have. I'm sorry about that. Like I already had an upgrade for this. I upgraded this, but in Germany, my friends, let me tell you something. We have all this like great technology. We have these great cars and everything, but the internet connection is still second class. Like it really is, and it has a lot to do with the fact that there is a lot of, I guess, natural, like it's not so good for nature to have that many like poles like set up and other kind of things. Like I don't really understand what the problem is with all of that, but I know in Bulgaria, for example, which is, from an economic standpoint, like a huge difference. It's like a much, much poorer country. Like you can't, like, Germany is an industrial, like, I don't know if it's called industrial, but it's like up there, it's like one of the leaders in like economy and so on. Bulgaria is not like that at all. And internet is like 10 times better. So this summer, I'm going to be in Bulgaria for a month. I'm visiting my father, I'm visiting my grandparents, and then I'm going to have much better internet connection, I hope. Let's see. And then I'm going to be outside a lot because we have like little land, and the good thing is I can work from anywhere. Okay. Okay, somebody asked, for my research, what do you think about integrating shadow functions? Yeah, like, what do you mean with shadow functions? Is it about shadow function as in your SE? What do you mean shadow functions as in NE and TE and all of that? So I have done a lot of videos on that before. Yeah, I think it's important. I think there are a lot of things we can just let go. Like I really don't care about TE at all. like, I don't know how much. I use it sometimes to counter check because, as I said, TE is actually this experimenting. Like I do it, I see, does it actually work? And then I take my thoughts out of that, and then like I can create more and I think. So I know it's important to have TE to counter check. Same thing with SI. Like I make sure that I really have a nice environment, that I try as much as I can to have order in my life, but not to a point where it really annoys me, but just like, have everything be clean and just nice like that. In when it comes to like integrating TI and SE or whatever, like I know I have a video coming up. It's called like get in love with it. My English. Get in love, become in love. What is it? Be in love with being a warrior, not a monk. Like, please don't take it like too literal. What I meant is like the NI is pretty much the monk in us, and I think we're gonna do that anyways, and we're so good at it. We just have to bring that inner ESTP out. We bring that warrior out, and then we create a life that is really amazing. But that's like my main thing. That's like my motto, the thing I go with is like, I want to bring that inner ESTP out. I'm never going to be an ESTP. Like a lot of people even ask me, oh, yeah, you're not an INFJ, you're an ESTP. I was like, yeah, ask an ESTP that and they'll tell you there's nothing. Like, you see me talk here for a minute, but I still spend 8 hours by myself at home, besides talking to you, but that's very, very fulfilling to me. So I will never be an ESTP, but I still know I need to bring all my NI out in the world and make an impact. So if you have any kind of idea, if you have any kind of way that you say, okay, this is not going right in the world, go out and do it. Change something. And Jacob says, I hope you have a wonderful time there. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you so much. I've seen like videos that you did, so you're a lot in nature as well. So I think, I'm going to really enjoy that. Okay. Kind mom baby, I don't know, I'm sorry. Any advice on not to fall into INFJ 4 function trap, like trying to do SE action more? Taking action is important too. Okay, I guess what the problem is that a lot of us really just jump directly into SE, so we think we should do in general, I don't know, start like doing just like hardcore boxing, or that we start getting into situations which are very, very competitive in a way of there's a lot of sensory stuff going on. Like, so like really, really loud environments, and we need to like find a way through that. I think that is not the best way. I think we have to go through the functions. So bring your ideas out first off through expressing them in an FE kind of way. Then you get like really a feedback, you get an understanding of system. Oh, this is the world I have, and you keep on building that. And then you also need that strength in order to always push yourself, because if you don't push yourself, you're not going to get a momentum. And the momentum is important, so you do not have to like always spend so much energy on it. You just like put in a little bit. It's like you always put out like 4 and then you get 5 back, and the next time you can put out 7 and then you get like 8 back, and so on. And it keeps on going. It gets easier because of the momentum, but that's why we always have to like push ourselves to have schedules and to say, okay, each Monday I'm going to do that, each Wednesday I'm going to do that, and just always keep on like pushing that thing out. But in most cases it is with an FE component, so it's like really expressing yourself. But I have found now that since I have a lot more energy, I really love to work out. Like it's been so great for me. I do body pump all the time. I really love this. This is giving me an energy I never had in my life, and I have been working out for a long time, but this just now happens because I have more energy. So it comes later on, I guess. Okay. Insane Candy Cane asks, is it possible to be too picky about choosing someone to be in a relationship with based on how neurotic they seem to be or the level of growth, or is it a good thing to do that? As I said, like for me, it's really, really difficult to answer questions like this because I'm not an expert on these things. I personally still, I always think I want somebody with a growth mindset, and then I still like people that do not have a growth mindset, but I just assume they have a growth mindset. So in the end, yes, I do think it's very important to have somebody who also wants to grow, with you. And it's just the main problem is we assume that and we just project it into other people, and then the problems arises when we realize, okay, I was just projecting that on the other person, and it's not really the truth. And one of the ways we can really get away from that is just to really make sure that we focus on our growth as one of the main aspects, because then we realize more and more that that person has potential for growth, a growth mindset, but maybe is not somebody who's really at a point yet where they will follow you. And it's not even that big of a deal, I guess. It's just that the person doesn't have a growth mindset. A lot of people change once they see that you're not going to just stay on their level. But sometimes when we choose a partner, we stay at their level of growth because we want that connection, and that is what's holding us back. But if you say my growth is my main focus, then a lot of people will actually start having a growth mindset. And so you can always connect from we're growing together at this pace. But that if you have to decide, am I going to stay in a connection with that person emotionally, mentally, or am I going to focus on my growth, that I put my growth first. And now my relationships are much more pure because there's no I will never make that person responsible for holding me back, which I used to do a lot. So my first boyfriend, the ESTP, I'm talking to him to this day. We're very close in a lot of ways because we've known each other for 17 years now. And I've learned that because, as I said, this is family to me. And I've learned, for example, not to really rely on him being everything I am right now, on his feet as well as I am, whatever, because that's just me putting pressure and expectations on somebody because I cannot do it for myself, pretty much. Because in the end, it's always a projection. Your YOLO shirt. Yeah, that's my YOLO shirt. Random reviews, eyes up. Okay, hold on. Yeah, Jacob, I'm reading it. I'm definitely doing more to get out there, have my community in any way. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Corpse. Okay, so Criteric. Yeah, I know. I never know. Do you want me to really call you by your name? Is it something you don't want to really say your real name? I know her name, but what are your favorite TV shows? So my favorite TV shows, I try to not watch that. I don't have I have a television there, but I don't have television in itself. I have phases where I don't watch series at all, and I'm all into personal growth stuff. So I like watching Tom Bilyeu. I like watching stuff from, I don't know, Oprah for a while, and then just things from Mind Valley, things that just get me going. But right now I've watched a lot of Friends. I'm binging Friends right now. And so from time to time I need this to say, okay, although you're doing that, although you're not in this growth mindset, I'm always doing, you're still gonna get back to that without you even trying. I've gotten to a point where I never have to worry. I was so worried that I'm just never gonna find my way back to that I didn't want to allow myself to relax. And now I know you're gonna get back in that anyways. You gotta get sick of yourself after a while, and then you just want to do this because this is the loop that it creates just more energy and great things that come. Okay. Nick says he reminds me of Ellen Pompeo, the actress who plays Dr. Gray on Grey's Anatomy. Okay, I don't watch Grey's Anatomy. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And Mark, thank you. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, Brene Brown, Jacob says, I love her. I really, yeah, the thing I have with Brene Brown is there were moments where she was you have to be empathetic and not sympathetic. As in, empathetic as in, I really feel your pain, and sympathetic is more yeah, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm actually not feeling where you are right now. And I think for a lot of us who are empaths, who are anyways in that way that we just empathize too much with people, I don't think that's the right advice. I think for people with us, we have to be more sympathetic and less empathetic in a lot of ways, because we stay there. We we're so in the world of that other person and suffering with them that we can't help them. Like, we want that person not to feel alone, but we're gonna do that anyways. We have this natural capacity of being with them in that moment and understanding their pain. But I'm a big, like my thing is definitely show them that, you feel that there's like that they're going through something, but if they want to feel better, then they have to fight. And you can be the rock that they can pull up on. Don't like go back into like this deep depth with them, which I always used to do, and make that person understand, listen, I can go into the biggest depths with you, I can go through the biggest pain with you, you're never going to feel alone. And that person never had the initiative to get out of that hole because I was there with them. Like, why was it like I'm not even alone in that? And then you could say, like, okay, no, actually, I'm not gonna let myself stay there. I'm gonna go for something because my life is worth enough for me to fight for my life. And through that, you're giving other people permission to also fight for their life. So that is my whole thing with Brené Brown. In general, I love her. I just think for us, we also have to be a little less empathetic, because you can also be empathetic in situations that are not helping the other person and not helping you either. Okay. Okay, just one more question, I guess. Lonnie asked, what is some advice for a young INFJ? I'm 21 years old. I'm in college now for culinary arts. Awesome. And I have many passions such as baking, writing, art. I love your channel. You've taught me so much. Thank you so much, Lonnie. Follow your joy. That's first off, when you're 20, like, enjoy life as much as you can. You do not have to find the answers, because the answers are never going to be in should you do bakery or should you do art, should you be in finance, should you do this, and we don't know yet. But what you know is the more you focus on like just doing things that are joyful to you, that are like desires to you, that is just fun, like really have as much. And I'm not talking about getting drunk and just kind of like forgetting about your pain. I just mean like really doing things that bring you joy on a daily basis, being with people who inspire you, and you creating a life on your own. So being less of I'm living in other people's worlds, but no matter what you do, if you do an art, like culinary arts, whatever it is, like create something magical out of your NI inside. And through that, you're going to create a momentum of creating energy that just gets bigger and bigger. And then first off, since you like, it's like you climbing out a mountain, and the higher you are on the mountain, the clearer the view is. So you know what makes sense for you and what not, because there are too many blocks right now happening in each one of us due to how we were raised that we cannot identify. And we need to grow and like build up our energy. And with every step, we know more and more what to let go of. So for me, you have to imagine I let go of this entire financial world of me. And this is like somebody who I've been doing this all my school year. As I said, my parents are all into academia. I have a master's in finance. I was working in the finance world for 7 years. I had 2 jobs. I was at the top tier consulting agency in banking. So like in that field, I was actually somewhere really, really good. Like I could have probably been partner in like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, I guess. If I loved it as much as I love this, I could have done this probably in 5 years from now on. But I didn't care. I just didn't care. And so I had to let go of this huge part. Like you have to imagine how much time I spent on this. 50 hours each week, I was spending time on something that was just not serving me and that I let go. So I was only able to do that because I was building this enough to a point where I could see well enough to say, okay, now it's time to let it go. Okay. Okay, Jacob says, yeah, he also sees it how I talked about Brené Brown. That's how I feel too, which is why I really appreciate the way you are going with this, because I'm so empathetic. But it helps me to find the strength, separate how others feel. So I completely agree. Yes. And Nick says, I think, be love, be fire. Yes, Paul. Nick says, I think empathy and compassion goes hand in hand. Compassion says, I see you, feel you, understand you, but I'm not going to lower my frequency to help and love you. Yes. Completely agree with that. Okay, we did this almost for an hour. I had even some other questions prepared, but I think That was really, really good. I really like that. So thank you so much. I think we had a lot of good questions, and we were like, because this is like, imagine, like we have, like right now there are 21 people tuned in. Like I have to see in the end like how much it is all together. But it was like still like a group where we could really exchange like our thoughts and really like I think with the Facebook Q and A's, first off, it didn't work that well, so I couldn't really get into the comments. And I think there are more people here, so we get really into a question and answers during the conversation. So yeah, so this is it, I guess, for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will try to do these Q and A's every other week, and then if you have any questions beforehand, you can send them to me. We can also have like some kind of, like, I was thinking of maybe doing webinars on like a specific topic, but I personally have not gotten to a point yet where I would know what I would want to talk about specifically. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just right now at a point where I try to do a video on Sunday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, and then every other week do one on Saturday, like a Q&A like this. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate first off, your support and the way that you share this. And yeah, I'm really thankful to have you all in my life. And I wish you a great, thank you all. Yeah, I can. I wish you a great weekend. And then tomorrow I'm having another video coming out. So thank you, and enjoy your Saturday. Okay, the weather. Let me just show you real quick, because the weather is horrible. I don't know if you can say. It's like raining. And it's like, like normally it's really light at this time. But yeah, okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.